Hello, 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 hello. Hello? Is it me? Am I live? I'm very late. Very, very late. But I'm here now. Alright, there we go. He's done it. Now we need to do several things. There's Godot stable. Okay, GitHub game off. Let's open this up and then we can switch our scene. Here we are. Let me see if I can remember where we even left off, because it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. So GitHub game off 2021. Remember to do all the appropriate tracking stuff. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is that I need to pivot. I need to pivot into something that's a bit more sane to do. So I'm going to keep the hacking element in because I think it's a good idea. But I guess like the RPG element is going to have to go. Like this is good. Or I guess whatever this is right now, right? So being the ability to like walk around, talk to people, that's good. The harder part is like creating, I guess, a world in order to walk around in, right? So I just don't think I can make enough assets to make that, you know, good, unfortunately. So instead, we're going to have to, you know, do something else, obviously. But what are we going to pivot into? I'm thinking what I'm going to do is make it so that this is more of like a tournament kind of thing. This is more of a tournament kind of thing. So boom, boom, boom. And then we'll just change some of these things. Yeah, it'll be more of a tournament thing. So this is more of just like your hub area. Also, I think that looks pretty nifty. The ability to turn around on the fly. Moonwalking. Spawn the a bot into chat as well. Look, it's me. He's a very invisible boy. The snake is invisible because of the green screen. That's tough though. That's tough. So where's my game design doc? I think I had a game design doc somewhere, but I have just forgotten where I put it. The pivot though is going to be, well, instead of having an overlay screen, like what happens with, I mean, that's the current logic, right? Is that you'll walk up to somebody, fight me, and then you'll go into just this screen here. I think I'm going to have to just make it be, well, I guess we're going to do a Pokemon style, right? So you'll load into a new screen, and I'm thinking the combat will just have to be, it'll be more of a focus on, like, I guess it'll almost be like a card-based combat. That's what's gonna have to be, as opposed to, I guess just boring combat. Boring but limited combat. And then there's gonna be pretty much no emphasis on like the RPG elements at all. Yeah. So we're stripping out pretty much everything except for player stats and you know, the skill system as well. And so let's go to, where is it? So unit skill, I think this is gonna have to go away. Pretty much everything related to the battle screen is gonna have to be scrapped. Most things, yeah, most bag items are also going to have to be scrapped. And then we'll just change how everything works, basically. So if we go to paint, we can start mapping out what I'm thinking I'm going to do. So we're getting rid of the party as well, so you're only gonna have your one character, I think. Otherwise it gets too complicated. So the basic layout will be, I'm thinking you'll have player information here, probably not that big, but player information here. And then you'll have your various cards that you can play. And these cards will represent your skills, and then you will, I guess, be able to pre-assign certain things. Yeah, pre-assign certain lines of code to each card, right? Or I guess you'll be able to buy card packs, but the more interesting bit is that you can also just write your own. So you can buy, yeah, so you can buy cards, or you can write your own cards, I guess. And then you'll have your opponent who has, I guess, cards that you cannot read, right? And then you'll have your draw pile. So this is your draw pile. Something like that. Look at it. It's 3D. So that's your draw pile. Right. So I think your opponent, I don't know. That's the idea, I think. Maybe we'll just have everything be up here instead. So move this, so this is your player info. And then we'll just have your cards against the opponent's cards. And so when you select a card to play, your opponent will also select a card to play, and then the card will move to, I don't know, like the center. Then both cards will play at once, and then we'll see what happens. right? Yeah, I think that'll still work, right? So if we keep whatever we have here in parse skill, so you have like charge amounts, activation time. Activation time can be something like, you know, a card just kind of exists on the field, and then it'll activate after a certain amount of time, or you can directly attack your opponent's health bar, so it's almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of format. So then you'll have your so some bar, character portrait, one of these. So HP, MP, make it simple, and then we'll have the same thing for the enemy, except they'll be very mad. Yeah, there we go. So cards will be placed onto the field just in a single row. So this is, I guess, the river, right? So this is your opponent's river, this is your river. Cards get placed here, and then cards can then either target the opponent river or can target the opponent directly. I think that's a good pivot. Yeah, that's a good pivot. So maybe we'll still have the bag as it's currently implemented, but instead of just holding items, it will hold... What will it hold instead? I guess it'll just have like... It'll be like your card deck. Almost. So... Can also make it... And here's the idea that caused me to pivot is changing how the battle system works and then pivoting to something that's more card based, right? So you can have cards that are more, I guess, DRM locked. So they have very fancy abilities, but you cannot see how they are actually working. But you can try to write your own, but then you need to get the card. Well, if you can't write it yourself, then you'll need to use the card. But if you can write it yourself, then you can have as many of them in your deck as you want, right? I think that's the idea. So where are we in terms of work on this? So this is GitHub game off. All right, so I didn't even push after the last stream, so that's fantastic. Good job, me. All right. Git commit all. So more work on skill parser. So git push whatever we have here. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we'll go into everything that's associated with the battle screen is about to get yeeted. So battle unit skill. All right, say goodbye. Yeah, no more of the battle stuff for now. Or at least, let's delete it from Godot, just so we don't break anything. So you have your overworld units. That can stay. Screens, battle. Battle's gonna get deleted. Utils. What I'm thinking I'll do, well, we'll go back to here. So there's going to be a few things that are broken now, right? So GUI layer, this is broken because now we no longer have a battle screen. We can put it back. We're going to put it back, but I didn't want any of the old code to be there. So game screen, yep, that's the game screen. So that's your main stuff that contains your viewport container. And then overworld screen, which looks like just a node 2D. Yeah, okay. So how should we do this then? Be a very basic system. So we'll just switch to a new scene, I guess. Switch to a new scene. This will be your battle screen. Slap a camera into there, camera 2D. This will be a current camera. And then we'll just have to load this in eventually. Create folder, battle screen. Create a new C# thing. Please don't open it. Takes forever. Alright. Where is it? Where is it? Battle screen CS. Alright. Cool. So namespace. Screens. Battle. Alright. So this is okay. Battled unit, battle screen, battle unit. Do we need that? So if we're going with something that looks like this, we'll need some way to know what is the current thing that's being fought. Or I wonder, so this has a viewport container attached to it. If we're just kind of rewriting how everything works, what's even in game screen? I don't even remember. So game screen. Okay, so it adds the overworld. Okay. And then does not contain a static reference to itself. Oh, it assigns itself to add manager, so we have a static reference. So this is just our container. Okay, so then let's write in something to switch out the views, maybe? I don't know. Like, I feel like I can move overworld screen, or I guess like recompose overworld screen and battle screen into the same thing, and therefore I can, I guess, more cleanly switch between the two things. Maybe. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. That makes more sense to do. Or maybe, no. That's tough. That's tough. So I would still like this to be pixel perfect, so we need to run it through the viewport container and just a custom viewport, right? Okay. Okay, hear me out. So we will do this. Say branch as seen. So this will be. Hold on. We'll set a different. Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of the game screen, so we won't need this anymore. So we'll just have. Or I guess this will be the overworld screen now. So this is overworld screen. We'll just start with it parented like that. Right. Then we will make local, so then all of these just kind of exist here. Right, give that a save. And then overworld screen. All right, get ready, this is gonna get weird. Or this is like overworld container screen. So this is like overworld container screen. Right. So then this needs to change names, or let's change names of this one first. Rename overworld container screen. This needs to change names as well. So overworld container screen. And then we'll just kind of slap both of them into the overworld folder, because they don't need to know about each other. So that should still work out. All right, so let me move to the overworld container screen CS. This doesn't need to happen anymore. All right, this is now overworld container screen, which is just a canvas layer. This is always necessary, which is why I'm just kind of changing things like this. App manager now needs to change as well. We're making a bunch of changes really quick. I wonder if this is necessary at all then. I don't think this is necessary. So we don't need to do any of this. Yeah, there's no reason to have any of these ready functions anymore since they're just there. Don't do anything with that. Pretty much like this is just a container, right? So get rid of this as well. That should still be okay. Battle unit doesn't exist in exit tree, but that's okay. Because there's no more team, so we can comment this out. Log message, blah, blah, blah. All right, I think this is okay. This should still work as intended. GUI layer kind of broken. This one doesn't exist. All right, so GUI layer. What is up with you? All right. So current dialogue unit is fightable. Where is this? NPC overworld unit. So that's on the GUI, or that's it. Yeah, it's overworld is fightable. I think I need to take that out. So now there's just dialogue, pretty much, or I guess we'll just have a shopkeeper unit as well. So we can get rid of all of this. Hide dialogue, blah, blah. Should be okay, and then everything should still work as well. So we hit it with a build. Failed to build project solution. All right, where? Player data. Player data. I think team, we don't need new data. We won't add anything to your team as well. Not needed. But I think we'll still have items. I think that makes sense. All right. I just want things to build after I'm restructuring how everything's gonna work. All right, 3 warnings. Never let a warning stop me. All right, I think we crashed. Maybe. Actually, not sure what happened. Run. See, this one, yeah, it should be okay. What happened? 6 errors in the debugger. Load interactive cannot open file. Where? Where? Load interactive. Overworld container screen. Reference non-existent resource at. Oh. Well, this shouldn't be... Huh? It shouldn't be doing anything. What? Build. I don't know, man. Give me another attempt to run. What does the log say? Still memory pool Alex and use at exits. That's good. Hoo. Where? Overworld container screen 7 parse error. Extension resource referenced. Make sure you have opened this at 7. This is overworld container screen. Is this... What's going on? Is it in overworld screen? Like something's failing here? It's NPC overworld unit. They also will not have a team as well. Like everything is building properly, I think. Like that should, yeah, that goes away. Hey? What happened? So these are commented out. So that doesn't make a difference, yeah? You know, you have your outputs. That looks okay. Debugger 6. Alright, let's give this just a restart, and then hopefully it's just like a byproduct of me changing a bunch of code. Alright, battle unit does not exist anymore. Yes. Close. So we go to entities, units. Yeah, there's nothing there. Eh? What? We can still open up container screen text scene. Oh, is that why? Wait. Player overworld unit, NPC overworld unit. I don't think these should have teams. What? Hold on. Entities, units. Where? One of these things has something it shouldn't, but I'm not sure what. So that's NPC overworld unit, and then this one should be an NPC overworld unit. And then nothing should have... Who? Wait, does something have... Yeah? Like there's dialogue, yeah. I guess we'll just have to look at the text scene and see if something's up. So, overworld, container screen text scene. So it's this thing here. NPC overworld. I don't know, man. If I just get rid of this, reload, error while parsing, error while parsing. All right, undo that. Open anyways. There's something weird. There's something weird here. Overworld. Where is it? Overworld screen. Oh, it's because no, it's not. See, this isn't loading in anything either. But I don't really have the ability to unpreload it. Battle unit. Like, I think I know why this is still here. Let me see if I can mess with it. Oh, you know what? It's because of this. NPC Overworld Unit 2 still has a team assigned to it. Very strange. Get rid of that. So reload. Open anyways. Then we can get rid of this as well. Reload. Nice. Okay. Cool. Cool. Rebuild, and then we should be able to relaunch. Everything should be okay. Yeah, okay. So everything should still work as intended. Now you just have dialogue, and then I think we'll just have like a dialogue choice at some point to allow you to get to the exciting part. Right. So this is empty script, nothing to see here, because there's no reason. But we'll keep the script for now. It doesn't hurt to have it, I think. It is kind of a weird thing to do, for sure. Yeah, so overworld screen, that works fine. Dialogue, I think this is going to have to be switched out later once I make a slightly better system. Then we'll make a shop screen and then go from there. So that's your overworld container screen. That'll be your first screen. Aside from the title screen, of course. Let's make that really quick. Finally, something I know how to do. A title screen. Canvas layer. So this is just title screen. So screens, create folder, title. Give that a save, and then we can hit it with color rect. This will just full rect. See how that feels. What's the palette? Bring me back. All right. Adjust swatch. Grab all of this. And just kind of paste it into there. Yeah, it looks all right. Add a few buttons, call it a day. So panel container. Shouldn't be too bad. I think I can reuse the... I don't know, man. What am I doing anymore? What's the theme? Quick load. What theme do we even have? I guess there's the battle theme. Maybe not. Ooh, get me out of here. We can reuse the overworld theme, maybe. So we'll kind of jimmy the anchors. That looks okay. Something like that. So 0.35 and then 0.65. So 0.35, 0.65. Top. I call it like a 0.4. That looks all right. So that's your panel container. Then we add a VBox inside of it. Then a few buttons. And then these buttons should have all these options checked. Oh, that looks pretty bad. That looks pretty bad. Quick load. Battle. Also looks pretty bad. That's what I get for not having a consistent aesthetic. Hold on. Open up overworld screen. Let's see, this is the viewport container stuff. So I don't want to copy over the entire node. But I believe I can just do this, which is viewport container. That's a viewport, but hold on. Viewport container, full rect, slap the viewport inside of there. This one, stretch on, stretch, shrink 3. Then grab both of these and just slap them into here. So this panel container can then use the overworld theme, and then we'll just change the theme whenever we go to a battle. It'll look kind of weird, but whatever. Give that a save. All right, so we'll need a few buttons, I think. And we're also going to be doing it blind, so that's good. All right, so that doesn't work properly. We can do is just have a base control to have everything based on that. So this is the, I don't know, the menu, the UI. So save. So So it's title screen and then there's the UI. Boom. We can open up the UI here, full rect. Panel container, the anchors should be somewhat correct. All right, cool. Bottom 0.8, cool. And then these should now display properly inside of the title screen. Yeah, just needed to kind of break it out into separate pieces. Yeah, so the title screen will follow the same kind of UI philosophy as the overworld screen. So it's just a container that has a viewport container. It's basically just a container to squish the pixels to make it pixel perfect. All right, so then we'll just have play, quit. I'm not sure what this button's gonna do. We'll figure it out. Play, quit. Maybe like options, and then we'll have it listed as options for now, right? So please. All right, so there's the UI CS. So namespace. Boom. Let's see, screens, title. Slap all of this into here, and then we'll just really quickly hook up all the buttons to do the requisite button stuff. All right, give me this swatch actually. Can make this slightly more aesthetically pleasing, I think. Ooh. I don't know if that's more or less aesthetically pleasing, but it is very brown. So public button, and then we'll just call it play button. So public button, options button. And then public button, quit button. So that's really easy. Public override, void ready. So we'll have to do play button, player button. Play button is equal to get node, and then we'll just pass in a path to this button. This is really easy, really quick and easy. Options button, not quite implemented just yet. Button 2, and then quit button. Button 3, I think, right? And then we'll want to hook all these up to their requisite callbacks. So play button, connect, pressed, let's see. On, play, pressed, options, connect. And then quit button, pretty much the same thing. Quit, pressed. Public void on play pressed. Yeah. Then with this, we'll do private read only. Let's preload the overworld container screen. So overworld screen is equal to gd load. Is that not how you do it? pack scene. Overworld screen. GD load pack scene. Pass in this path. And there we go. So on play button pressed, then we will... Yeah, we'll just create a new instance of the overworld container screen and switch to that, right? At least I think that makes sense. Yeah, because we're not using a kind of like container philosophy anymore, since we do just have the... I'm starting to slip back into the how I'm doing this for the manga reader thing I'm working on. Yeah, but don't do that. We don't need to do that. So we can just pass things around via the player data. Whereas with the manga reader, I can't do that, since I do also want it to work as an editor plugin. So you do not have access to global singletons for editor plugins, which makes things kind of tough. You need to structure things differently. But this one, I can do whatever I want. So we'll do var screen is equal to, well, can't do that. Guess we could, but using screens overworld. So this will be overworld container screen is equal to overworld screen instance overworld container screen. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Change this to be actually, how does that work? So is it just change GD? How do I switch scenes in C#? Change scene. It's one of these. It's like the scene tree. Yeah, scene, change scene or change scene to. All right. So how do I access this? This is just like GD. What is it? Change scene to. There must be some way to access the scene tree, right? So GD. Where is it? Oh no, I need to access it via get tree. So get tree. Change scene to. Oh. And then if we're doing it like this, then we can just use, we don't need to even preload it in, right? Overworld container screen path is equal to whatever the heck this is. Yeah. Need to get away from the previous way I've been doing things. So this is just change scene, takes a string path. This will be overworld container screen path. There we go. Public void on options pressed. This doesn't do anything, and then this one is very simple. On quit pressed. Hit it with a get tree. Quit. Right. Very easy to test out. We'll just need to switch some things around really quickly. So don't start the overworld, start with the title. Title screen, boom. Run from a VS Code, so that it does all the attaching of the debugger for me. So now that's, the brown looks really bad. So quit, that's simple. I think I'm gonna change the color back in the UI. No, don't do that. Here we go. Change this back to this. There must be another one. Is it... If I make it really bright like this, will that work? Or am I already using that color? I'm not. It is like burning out my retinas, but... Sacrifices do have to be made sometimes. Dark mode? Never heard of them. So you'll have all this good stuff. I think against the very bright background, this looks like it's... This doesn't look brown, it looks black, but I think that's fine. So options doesn't do anything. Play brings us straight into this screen. And then we'll have chop characters, etc., etc. Cool. So that's good enough. We can hit it with a GD. Print. How do I print? Print raw. Print error. Print stack. Print T. Pushes a warning message. I don't know. Print. Options. Not yet implemented. Really quickly, I don't want to throw an error, just so like, in case I'm demoing this, it doesn't just absolutely nuke everything. But that's the UI, that's the title screen. All right, battle screen. So this kind of goes back to the overworld screen, which is just kind of its own thing. Oh no. Why does overworld screen also have a reference to battle screen? Overworld screen. Oh, it's because of one of these. Yeah, this one still has a team. That didn't get properly cleaned up. Do that. Right. So now I should be able to open up overworld screen. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking, is that since pretty much everything here should be, I can place them however I want, but then the underlying logic will kind of force things to be locked to a grid. What I'm going to do is we'll create a, probably just like an area 2D. And so we'll have just these areas be like trigger areas. So this is a trigger area, sure. Trigger area with a collision object assigned to it. Collision shape. Collision object, make it a rectangle shape. Trigger area. So in entities, units. It's not really a unit. This is more of a prop. Prop trigger area. But we will be opening up overworld units, just the basic one. Let's see, how big is the collision shape? It's 8x8, which means that this one also needs to be 8x8. Very nice. And then once something walks on top of it, it will trigger whatever it is meant to trigger. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. BRB. Okay. Trigger area. I feel like these should just have like individual scripts. Yeah, okay. So this is, I don't know, battle. Battle screen trigger. Just kind of put this in the same place. They could even inherit, but there's not a whole lot of reason to do so, but I'm gonna do it. Then this one. It's weird how this why does that happen? So it doesn't like the huh. I don't know. Alright, let's just use this one so that we can continue to get Godot to, you know, open up the files in this one. Not sure what's going on. Entities. Props. So it should be abstract, but we'll get around to it. I believe Godot doesn't even care like if it's an abstract class or not. It'll just make it work somehow. Okay. Let's see. So for trigger area, give that a save, give this a save. So we only need to hook up some really basic stuff. So public override void ready. Don't do anything here, but we'll have to define several things. Or maybe just the one thing, right? So there's public, maybe like a private. I'll make it public, why not? Private. Private virtual, eh? Private virtual void. Is it not how you do it? Or can, oh no, because it needs to be protected. Protected virtual void, my bad. So on area entered, and then you'll have some sort of node, and then we'll just do a check, right? And here we can do get node. This will be collision, what is this called? Collision shape 2D. Collision shape 2D. Yeah, there we go. And we'll connect it to what were the signals on a collision shape 2D? So you'll have, well, oh no, we don't even need to do it on that thing, right? We just need to connect to ourselves. So on area 2D, it will be area entered, perhaps? Yeah. Or maybe it doesn't even need to be an area. Maybe it just needs to be like the overworld screen needs to keep track of wherever overworld. Yeah, maybe it's just like the overworld screen needs to keep track of the like trigger areas. So this doesn't even need to have, yeah. Yeah. Or maybe this doesn't even make any sense to have. Maybe you should just talk to somebody and then they'll be like, do you want to continue? so you don't like accidentally move to the next screen without intending to, because there's no reason to leave the current arena, right? Okay, so that was a waste of time. Good to flex the old brain muscles though. Good to know that everything is still firing on pretty much no cylinders. Alright, get rid of this, get rid of this. NPC overworld units. I think there's some things I do need to add to this. So, dialogue, that's fine. But, for now, so there's the dialogue. And then alright. We're just gonna start BSing the implementation here, because I do want to finish it. So this is the public string, I don't know, like question, public string question, get set equals nothing. So not everything will have a question, right? But a question implies that we should spawn something in later on, after the dialogue is finished. Or even if it even has dialogue, right? So all NPCs have dialogue, but not every NPC will have a valid question, right? So public bool has question to begin with. Yeah. False. Alright, cool. So if it has a question, then the GUI layer should do something special. So hide dialogue. So we can change this up. So it's like current dialogue units. I guess we can, there's a few things that we can do. Like we might not even need has question if we just use like check to see if there is like a question written down. That might be nice. So question. Is there like a length function? I forget how this works. Length is greater than 0. Then we'll do, I guess we'll spawn in like a choice box. So this is getting pretty gross. Well, we'll spawn in a choice box and then and I guess just block. Basically just block until an option has been selected. So to do spawn in choice container question mark. Yeah, okay. So this is your GUI layer. We can look at this. That's your GUI. Looks pretty gross. Maybe we can just slap something into the dialog container instead. What does hide GUI do? Hide GUI, hide GUI. So dialog container. So you'll have just the texture rect and a label, and that this allows you to kind of page through things. And then we can have just another HBox container in the same place. Oh, hello, Bumdy. Hello, hello. How are you doing today? I am very... I'm deciding to pivot what I was doing with this Game Jam game. So we're changing how... I guess we're changing the focus of it. So now there's just going to be the overworld screen. It's going to be one screen. And it's going to be just almost entirely mechanics driven by the hacking thing. Trying to code. Nice. I feel you. I'm in the same boat. It is indeed very much a struggle. So this is dialogue. Dialogue. So that's a dialogue label, dialogue container, and then this will be your choice, if there is one. Yeah. That's tough. No, have no idea game states. So, give it a minute. It's a process. Yeah. Well, I think it's a process, and also just trying to figure out like what ideas are feasible to work on with the amount of time that you have. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought my initial idea was pretty good, but then once I started like thinking about it more and more, I'm like, man, this is a bad idea. It sounds good on paper, but it just requires a bit too much design if you wanted to do something that's more like JRPG-esque, which is what I was trying to do. So instead we're just pivoting to something more mechanics driven. When in doubt, make structs. No. We don't need structs. Oh, hello. Hello, Koji Bear. Hello. How's it going? It's going alright. This Game Jam game is due on December 1st. So I've had an entire month on it. Decided to scrap almost a quarter of the work, which is like almost all the recent work on it. So we're pivoting whatever we were doing. Let me clear up some things. If I make structs, I don't know. I feel like whenever I make structs, it's just like more garbage for me to delete later. Yeah, the game idea, as you can see from the title, is RPG+Hacking game. It was going to be more JRPG focused, with a very small emphasis on hacking, but I've decided that I don't... There's like one, not enough time, but that's entirely my fault. And two, I don't have enough ideas to make that work. So we're just going all in on the hacking portion, because I'm confident at least in that idea being okay. So now I need to restructure everything I had before really quickly. So you'll have top label, and you'll have your bottom choice containers. So these are just your choices, which will be 2 buttons. Button 1 will expand, and then let me see, size flags. Ooh, feels like pain. You've been off more than you can chew. Not really. Not really. I think I just wasn't motivated enough, even though that's like the entire reason why I was working on this, was to motivate myself to work on it. You know, so it goes sometimes. So it goes. I think if I just focused more on, I guess, the JRPG aspect of this as opposed to whatever the heck this is. So I was working on a skill parser, right? And so I feel like you were there when I was explaining it, but each skill has yada yada, this kind of stuff. So it's a basically like a assembly parser that I've just kind of rolled by myself. It's very strange. And I'm pretty sure I can make that work. And so you'll have, I guess, like default skills. So every single skill will be made out of, I guess, this kind of weird assembly language. And then the game will just kind of parse it and then assign the correct values for it. But then you can just write your own. And then that's kind of the basis of the game, is that you can modify your own assembly language, and then you can also, like, at runtime, modify your opponent's skills as well. So I think that could be cool, right? Because it's like if, you know, what if magic was real? Would it? I don't think magic would look a lot like, you know, Harry Potter magic. I think it would look a lot more like this. Basically programming language, code, programming. Yeah, basically code. So, and I feel like, you know, initially when people discover magic, there'll be like a lot of garbage. It's like, oh, you need to say this long sequence of words. But then there's only a few words that actually do anything to the magic that you're using. So if you can figure out what it is, you know, you can kind of optimize it. So if you're forcing yourself with a deadline, maybe not worth continuing. Yeah. Well, there were a few things I could have cut. If you're forcing yourself with a deadline, maybe not worth continuing. Are you saying like maybe not worth continuing for the game jam, but still continuing with the game idea? Or are you saying maybe not worth continuing with this specific idea, but going for something else? Both? What? Well, I don't know what I can pivot to now. And I did say, like, at the very beginning of the month that I wanted to submit something, so I don't want to go back on that. I think I can get something out at least as a proof of concept. I think at this point I'm not expecting to have anything that's good, but I do want to get a nice proof of concept out at the very least. Because at the very least, like, this idea here has been rolling around in my head for a while. Like, even before I wrote my own programming language, I was like, what if I did something like this? And then I wrote the programming language, and I was like, wow, I have a lot to learn for, like, parsing strings and then trying to generate some sort of data from it. You know, when you get ideas and things to continue, it's really fun to jump to something else. So, well, I think at this point, I don't know what else I would want to do for the game jam, but I want to finish. Otherwise, the only other things that I'm working on are this thing here, or like a kind of manga reader for Godot, which, by the way, I can show that off as well really quickly. We're not going to pivot to that, but look at this. This is not it. Actually, this is it. Check this out. I'm not sure that you were here for this, but this hooks into MangaDex. I guess I can I can almost also demonstrate logging in. Very fancy. So I was working on this for a little bit. Wait for it. Something might have broken. Invalid call. Oh, I didn't change this yet. Hold on. Alright, really quickly. Manga reader GD git pull. I forgot I broke something really quick. I fixed it on my other computer, but didn't pull the code. Need app to read all. Well, I don't know if this is the app that you're looking for. Thank you very much for redeeming a hydrate, Koji Bear. Let's drink some water, everybody. I feel like I haven't drank any water today. I've only been drinking coffee and or wine at Thanksgiving. There we go. All ready for Thanksgiving. Hydrate or dihydrate? Why not both? Anyways, check that out. And then we can look at... Man, I don't know anything about... Where are we? Drink 3 big cups of coffee, a little water. Nice. Anyways, so this works. So now we can read manga inside of Godot. There's an options bar. Look at that, how fancy. It also caches the images, so it doesn't just hammer MangaDex's servers. Has automatic failover, etc., etc. We can go back here. Homie. I don't think homie is the correct search term. Get this off my screen, by the way. Something's wrong with the manga list. Yeah. I wondered if I broke the search functionality. But yeah. I suppose the coolest part about this project is that Godot doesn't really have great like HTTP client functionality, and then also here's the LFU. So there's the image cache, etc., etc. So this works standalone. So if I wanted to, I could take all this code and then just slap it into here, right? Because it's all self-contained, works as an add-on. So I don't know why you would want to, but it's like a Duke Nukem Forever kind of thing. Like you can check your email from your video game. How immersive! But instead of email, it's just degenerate weeb trash. Yeah, free and open source, etc., etc. Find that on my GitHub. Available under Manga Reader GD. Although it does just hook into MangaDex. Legally distinct name, of course. Yeah, so that's something I actually found decently interesting, but I understand it's not super interesting for other people to watch. Because it is like the most basic type of programming, which is just integration. You know, watching someone... So you definitely need a token to use it? No, you just need a username and password. But if you just happen to have your token, you can reuse that as well. So for development purposes, so I don't need to type in my username and password, or even have them stored like in the development environment, I just have Postman up and running. So included in the repository is a Postman Collection for generating tokens and whatnot, or just sending the requests by themselves. So let me see. There's like login. Yeah, so you would log in with your username and password, then you get your token, and then you can just continuously refresh that token if you wanted to, and then just copy and paste that token into your into that dev login field. And I suppose the nice part about doing this in Godot is that it will deploy, in theory, it will deploy to any device that Godot supports. And also because I wrote it entirely in GDScript, it's very, very portable. Right, because it would have been a lot easier to write that entire manga reader thing in C#, and then use like C#'s, I don't know, just REST request libraries, so I can do like async and client pooling. Don't need to roll my own. right? Then I'll use the token when it expires. But when you log in from web, what do you mean when you log in from web? I'm pretty sure it still gives you a token. They just don't expose it to you somewhere. I don't know. I mean, you could just go to MangaDex, right? And then I never remember the hotkey to open up DevTools, so I always just hit inspect. But you could just track your network usage, so you log in, log out, and then look for the request that looks like it's giving you a token, and then you can reuse that. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah, so you don't need a token. Yeah, it works. Everything more or less works. There are a few bugs still. I'm implementing, what was the last thing I was implementing? It was like chapter search, yeah, or no, manga search, not chapter search. And then after that, you know, you're able to see your followed list, you're able to see your, or, you know, search for a specific manga thing, and then view all the chapters and select one. That's pretty much done, I think. Not sure what else you would really want. I think I'm going to try to finish this up though, unfortunately. So let's see, there's your dialogue container, there's your dialogue label. Let me see, this is your choice label. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a fun project, at least for me, because I don't really do that kind of stuff for work anymore, so I've been missing just working on basic integration stuff. Because that used to be like almost exclusively what I worked on for maybe 2 years. And at the end of it, I was like, man, I really hate working on integration stuff. But then once I started working on other projects, I was like, man, like CI/CD build systems, what a pain. I miss the good old days when all I had to do was just worry about, you know, does the API match? Am I getting a response? Now it's like doing somewhat kind of the same things, but now we need to work with developers. And be like, why isn't your code building? I don't know, you're the CI/CD guy. It's like, yeah, I am the CI/CD guy. That's why I'm asking you questions. Yeah, I guess the main stakeholders have changed. You know, when you're talking to non-technical people, basically like the product manager, you can kind of just BS them and be like, it's not working, it's another service. But when you're talking to like other developers, they're like, oh, that doesn't sound correct at all. Are you lying to me? I'm like, yes, but no. And now I work in as a software development engineer in test, aka QA engineer as well. Which is actually like fairly nice because it's a mix of like integration and like other stuff. Not just a QA tester, not just a standard tester. Actually writing test harnesses, which is neat. Alright, so now we have these. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them though. You a presenter too? I no longer do demos. I wish I still did demos, but usually we leave that. Actually, I don't really know who's supposed to do the demos. I haven't. The one and only demo I've attended, the developer demoed their own code. But I think it just depends. Right, because I think it's the developer who usually has deeper knowledge of whatever the heck they were writing in the first place. Yeah, it's actually kind of weird, but maybe not so weird now that I'm saying it out loud. But every developer in I guess the project that we're working on, like everyone is like super siloed. So everyone's an expert in their like one piece of the application. It's only the QA guys who have to know like how everything works together. It's only like QA and like the team lead, and then everyone else just kind of knows like, yeah, this is a black box. The black box gives me some information, and I push that information over to another black box. And it's like, okay, so we have like a microservices with nano services inside of it. Oh baby. But then me as the QA needs to figure out how everything fits together. Is equal to current dialogue unit question. Yeah, but I don't know. I think I would like to do demos, if only because, well, I think I'd be pretty good at it. I think I'd be pretty good at it. And two, I think the demo would go a lot smoother because it's the standard like developer demos, and also because a lot of these developers are like from Poland or Belarus or just like Eastern Bloc countries for whatever reason, and so English is not their first language. So I'm like, one, that's pretty neat. Considering that everyone's being paid on like a California, like Silicon Valley pay scale. Like two, like, I guess why? Why is everyone from Eastern Bloc? I guess it's better than everyone being from some part of Asia. Like, it's not supposed to be like a racist thing, but that's just how it is in like industry. So it's kind of a weird thing. Especially since I don't really work with Silicon Valley companies. Consulting, right? If your company was actually competent, you wouldn't need a consultant. Microservices pain most of the time. Yeah, well, I think microservices are a pain most of the time when what's the word I'm looking for? When they aren't planned out to be microservices, right? So usually, like, a lot of these things are usually planned as a big monolith. Yeah, when it's over-engineered and when it's under-engineered. There's like a sweet spot for microservices, and then most people don't get it right. So like, I think the current place where we're at right now is that it used to be a big monolith application, and now they're needing to redo it. So it's very painful all around. But of course, also when you underdo it, then it's like, you need to keep constantly redesigning the feature so that the microservices can properly talk to each other. And then the API endpoints are never constant because, they're changing. The design constantly changes when it's underdeveloped. When it's overdeveloped, it's just like, we have all these features, but we don't use like any of them. Or there's like, you need to call this endpoint, which calls this endpoint. You need to call like 3 different endpoints on our application to then call another microservice, which then goes back to us. It's like, oh. Yeah. You know how Godot is a very nice module. 4.0 is exciting. Yeah, 4.0 does look really good, for sure. I should probably check it out again at some points. But I don't know. Like, it's like the only things I would I don't really work in 3D. That's the problem, is that I don't really work in 3D. So that makes it tough. Or I guess a tough sell for me. Right? Because if you already have something that works and you're not doing some really weird stuff with GD scripts, then 4.0 should be pretty painless right now. But usually everything that I'm doing with GD scripts is kind of weird. Has a lot. I use Godot for things it's not usually meant to be used for, like this thing, and also this thing. So, like the few times I've tried to use it, I think like the last time I tried to do anything with Godot 4 was like a month ago. I just kept hard crashing. Presumably because of some GD script errors. Always kind of painful. Yeah. It's gonna be unstable for a while. And also, I don't know if anyone was here, but I remembered like that someone came into chat one time and was like, why aren't you using Godot 4? I was like, it's not ready yet. And it was like, but they're gonna get an alpha out like next month. I'm like, nah. And that was like in June. I was like, I don't think they're gonna have an alpha out until like December, by Christmas. I'm estimating by Christmas, and you know what? It's almost Christmas. I think I was totally right, like 6-7 months ago. How many months ago was June? I'm bad at math. So what this needs to do is, if there is a question, then we will toggle this thing on. So we'll toggle the dialogue off. Wait. Yeah, we'll toggle the dialogue off and then toggle the choice on. So then that's kind of how the system will work. Yeah. They can do alpha, but they're still making it better to release at a better state. Yeah, I think they were going to release an alpha like a few weeks ago, but then someone forward ported, like OpenGL or GLES2 support, I think, for backwards compatibility with like potato devices. Toggle menu. Hey. What does toggle menu do? Ah, jeez. Menu events. Okay. So GUI state dialog. What am I using GUI state for? So there's your GUI state, and then you have these things here. Wish they had like 5 more core devs. I don't know. I don't know if more devs would make a huge difference. Right? It's like it's the same problem of like you can't just throw more developers at a problem and expect it to work faster. Usually, you know, the more developers you throw at a problem, the slower it becomes and the more bugs are introduced. And I think that would also be pretty pricey to hire 5 more core devs. Need more management. Yeah, I think I don't know if that's one of the things where I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, on one hand, more management is nice, but I know as like from a personal experience, like I just hate having a manager. Maybe like another project manager or just someone to better triage things. Like I know they have one project manager already who helps triage issues. I think that's Akian. What I'm looking for, by the way, is some way to toggle. Do I already have a way to toggle off the dialogue container or not? And I'm thinking I don't. Dialogue. Hold on. So this is the dialogue container. There's the just the regular dialogue, I guess. Yeah, like I think something that might work is I don't know, man. I don't keep a close enough eye on how the comings and goings work of Godot development. I just keep an eye on the subreddit. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I just keep an eye on the subreddit. HBox container. Oh, and also on Twitter. You know what? I used to really hate Twitter for a long while. But as it turns out, the optimal strategy for Twitter is just to follow people you're interested in. And then you'll just kind of... It'll be painful for like the first week, but then like once you start seeing what they reply to or whatever, then you start building up a list of things that are actually interesting to you. It's almost in the same way that Reddit works. Like the first, you know, few days of using Reddit, it's like, I don't really care about most of this, but then you start seeing things, other subreddits start getting mentioned. It's like, oh, okay, we can start customizing the feed like that. But it's not like the TikTok experience, right? Where TikTok is just like, all right, here's like 2 things. How did you feel about it? And then it just gives you an unending feed of dopamine. I'm saying this because there are issues that are easy to fix, but not many people are around to do those. Also issues to fix in a few weeks, etc. I think there's a lot of issues that are getting pull requests. Yeah, like there's a bunch of pull requests for pretty much everything, right? In Godot. I think they just need more people to go through them. Like a dedicated reviewer. Like the work is there. It's hard to get around to reviewing every single one of them. I think that's one of the biggest things, is that people are working on stuff, but then you need, you know, people who know more about the direction of development to, you know, do stuff. Choice label. Okay, this is what I was missing. So private HBox container choice. Yeah, so this is gross, by the way. I don't like this. But we're doing it. Hit choice. Yeah. So I like development's going at a pretty good clip, but like the hard parts, you can't really rush those, unfortunately. In my opinion. Alright, so these are the 2 things that we need to toggle on and off. So when we show dialog, we'll hide the GUI, dialog container show, and then we'll also do dialog show. Yeah, okay. And then here, hide dialog. We'll hit it with a hide GUI. Okay, here we need to hit it with choice, hide. And then we'll just flip these 2 options here if there is a choice to be made. Yeah, there we go. So this is now show, and this is hide, right? And then you'll only have the choice. We won't have stopped the dialogue just yet, but then on choice yes, choice no, they'll do basically the same thing, right? Yeah. And then we'll have to, I don't know what we're gonna do here. I don't know what we're gonna do here. So there's the question, and then I wonder if it makes sense to do here we go. So we have I think we'll get around to it. We'll get around. I still need to figure out what I want to do in order to broadcast the outcome of the player choice. So to do, this is basically a stub. Basically a stub. Basically a stub. Yeah. Oh. And then I am starting the application, but nothing's going to really happen, right? You'll have your play, blah, blah, blah. I guess the nice part is that this is still pixel perfect. Oh, and then we break. That's good. What happened? Where? Specified cast is not valid. So, control, roots, dialog container, choice. Here. Oh, that's a VBox container. Ah, okay. So this is a VBox container. Change this, then really quickly we'll go to overworld screen. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do is this won't really change too much. Question. Oh no, this is a test. There's your test question. Just want to see if that'll work. Hit play. Look at that. Okay, so that didn't work how I thought it would. Because, why? Current dialogue unit question length. Are these not connected? It doesn't matter if they're connected or not. It should have shown the choice regardless. So we should have returned and then not. Oh, it's because it called hide GUI. Oh. Oh, hello, Knock. Hello. How are you doing today? The poop command is still not implemented. I'm very sorry. So hide GUI, we want to move this here. So I'm pivoting from my original plan. By the way, Knock, I'm making this pivoting to be almost completely mechanics driven. Yeah, so it's just going to be the battle. So I'll keep like the overworld screen, but this will basically just be like, here's your shop, and then here's where you go to edit stuff. So it's a glorified menu screen, I think. And then we'll just battle screen. I'm thinking I'm going to make it almost card based. Maybe I'm still not super convinced that this is the way to go, but I think sticking with the JRPG kind of like you can walk around, talk to people, etc. That's not the play. I don't think I can make something good and then also have a good battle system at the same time. So doing it this way still allows me to reuse a lot of the values that I have in skill parser, or not skill parser, but parsed skill, I think. Parsed skill. Yeah. How much time do I have left? I have until December 1st, so I have enough time to at least make the battle system. You think making a framework in Godot to use in all your games like a huge project but empty? I've thought about it before, but I don't see the value in it, right? Like I even have a script to generate a skeleton project, but that's like the most that I'll do. So like you can kind of see here that like all my projects, I don't know if that's super visible, but I just create an assets folder, an entities folder, a model folder, and a utils folder. And that's the most that I'm willing to commit to. Because each project is different, right? There's different requirements, you know. I think if you create a big skeleton project to use for all of your things, then you kind of limit yourself to only making things like that. Like whatever the skeleton looks like. What I do instead is I have just a small repository of Let me see if I can find it. I have a small repository of just random snippets that I can reuse. So I have a game manager. This is actually super out of date. I have a finite state machine that I just reuse all the time. Actually, this is also super out of date now that I'm thinking about it. Right. And so these are just very, very small bits of code that I can reuse, as opposed to just creating a project skeleton with some things, you know, auto-populated like a singleton manager or whatever. Godot's practice is the same. Like get node is all the same. What do you mean get node is all the same? Like that's it just interacts with the scene tree, right? So if you're doing things in Godot, I think you do have to use the scene tree. There's no way around that. Actually, no, there is a way around using the scene tree. You could just make calls directly to the visual server or the physics server, but I don't know why you would want to do that. Right, there are some basic concessions that you have to make if you're going to be using a game engine, but I think in terms of application structure within the game engine, you don't want to, you know, pigeonhole yourself into just doing one specific thing. Yeah, I know what you're saying, an application framework on top of Godot, but like, that's what I'm saying is that it doesn't make a lot of sense. Right, because then every single application that you'll write will be structured the same way. But that's not always the best thing to do, unless you're just saying like super, super minimal skeleton, which I do have. I do use a super, super minimal skeleton. Let me see if I can find it. So I have set up Godot Project. Yeah, so I have, yeah, pretty much just this. So I have a script that just generates the folders for me, echoes a license into my directory, and then creates the git ignore, touches a readme, etc. But any more than that, I don't think is a great idea. Have you automated capable framework? Nah. No, because then every application that you write will be in that structure, which I don't think is a great idea. Like I said, it limits your ability to be flexible. Like, yeah, you could just not use the framework, but then why did you create the framework in the first place? Like Oh, okay. So you, So I've actually done that as well. I've actually done that as well. Oh, and this is still not working, by the way. I've actually done that as well. Kind of. So this thing here actually uses XML for all of the UI stuff. Or not all the UI stuff. The positioning is still hard-coded, but, or I guess the container positioning. So the top bar, that's hard-coded. These sidebars hard-coded, but the elements inside of it are not. These are all defined by XML files. So I guess in that way, yes, I have done that. And then I do have an idea to make even like the positioning not reliant on anything. So it basically gets pre-processed, almost like HTML. And then we'll figure out the layout after that. Yeah. Create data structures owned by abstract distant objects. I don't know about that. I feel like once you start getting to that level, you might as well start writing like C++ to do stuff. All right, so for some reason we're not hitting this part, by the way. Boom. Not so GUI, but game data? I don't know. I feel like you would be better off I think you would be, I feel like you would be better off just doing your own thing, or making it a smaller code snippet. Create data modules in one place but it's owned by something else, etc. I mean, you can do that, right? You can do that with GD scripts. So you can have just like a model class, and then your actual game entities will just have models inside of them. So you basically compose the game data as opposed to using strict inheritance. It's a very Golang-esque kind of way of doing things. So you could just compose every single field, and then you would have to access the fields from the objects. That's a bit weird, but so it goes. What is current dialogue unit has a question? Where is it? Wait, yeah. Current non-public members, current dialogue unit. What is your question? Question. Where's Q? Did I not save it? Is that why it's not working? So you. Yeah, you do have a, what? Build. I mean, the Godot's worst part is boilerplate code. You get node many things, etc. I don't think that's horrible. like there's a few ways that you can get around that as well, right? So we peek at your, or my GitHub, not your GitHub. Although we could also look at your GitHub if you wanted to share something. Right. So for a lot of the screen stuff here, I think home screen does this a lot. Yeah. So if you don't want to like get node stuff, and I feel like there's not like a great way around get node. I suppose you could have a helper function that you know, places the node down in your ready function, and does, you know, so I just don't think that's a good idea. It's too manual. I think it's all right. Hard coded. Well, actually, if you use like this kind of weird structure here, so you have I have a logout button, and then there's the actual logout button. So the logout button path, you can set this via the editor, and then once you start moving the node around in the editor, this path will change dynamically, and then you only need to do this to get the thing. No, that use it. Oh, okay, well. Or let me see. You could do something like this. So if we're only talking about UI elements, that's the best way to do it. Let me see. I suppose you could also do something like this. So these are the XML things. So features. This one's pretty easy. Actually, this is not a good example. Tracking is probably a better example, right? So we have all of these things here. You could also just do it all in code. Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that you could just create a function that does it all for you. So it does all the hookups. So you would, I don't know, have a function like create button that you would, actually then you're still hard coding a path. You're still hard coding a path somewhere. At that point you're using Godot. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Actually, where do I do the, is it the GUI? Yeah, one of these. Construct views from XML. So you could do something like this, and then the way that this application works is it reads in all the XML files, looks for the element's name, right? And then it does a bunch of connection stuff afterwards. So I guess that's closer to what you're talking about. It's not really hard coded, I guess. I mean, it's technically, I think there's no way to get around it. You have to hard code somewhere. You have to hard code it somewhere. So I think like using get nodes to, you know, get nodes that are in the scene tree, that's not bad. That is the Godot way of doing it. Or you can do it this way, and then you just have a bunch of data defined on every single one of your things. Like you could do this, yeah. I think if you want to have something that's more declaratively driven, so you would only need to have like this could be your scene layout actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, you could totally do something like this, right? So the XML structure would just follow, I guess, your text scene layout or your scene tree layout, or how you would want your scene tree to be laid out, right? So in this case, we would have overworld screen, and then nothing else, right? And then nothing else. And then you would do, you know, I want to have a camera 2D at the very top, camera 2D node right here, along with all the options. So like you could have like camera 2D, you know, currents is equal to true or something like that. So if you wanted to do it, like you could do that if you wanted to. Like I have example code that kind of works. I mean, create a template scene file where it automatically assigns its type, arranges child's hook signals. I don't know how you would do that in Godot though. I don't think that would be possible. I think if you wanted to have something that's driven by, you know, text as opposed to the editor, like this would be viable. I'm not sure how you would create like a template scene file and then automatically assign things. Like you still need to have some sort of input. Like you need to have the input somewhere to define the data. Like, there's no getting around assigning things, like hard coding it. So somewhere you're going to need to hard code values. So if you want to do it in the editor, which is the Godot way, then that's cool. If you don't want to, then you can do it in the, you know, your init or ready function. But if you don't even want to do it in the GD script, then you could roll your own kind of weird thing like I did. Sure, hard code in one place. Then do I have the thing for you? You can create an XML file. So I'd you know, recommend you look at this function here. I think that would work. Like that satisfies your requirement, I think. Like you could just hard code every single one of your text scenes in an XML file. And then following kind of the logic that I kind of laid out for you, right? So you have, you know, instead of view, you could call this like text scene. And then within that text scene, then you would have all the nodes. Oh, nothing. Well, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to have everything in one place. You could do JSON. JSON would be horrible to do it. Like like JSON, you would need to do a lot. You would need to do a ton, right? Because JSON doesn't allow for like inline attributes. So then you would have to do like, this is my object, and then you would have to have name, colon, the thing, you know. Whereas this one has like inline whatevers. Actually, that's kind of an interesting idea. That's an interesting idea. I've convinced myself. That could be fun. I'm not gonna do it now though. That sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. But if you wanted to define all your text scenes like that, I think that could work. Yeah, I think that totally could work, yeah. The more I roll it around, that would be a really weird way of doing it. As assessed by generic modeling fits for all. It's the classic programmer trap. Just trying to use generics for everything. I think generics have a time and a place. But I feel like in most circumstances, when I see people use generics, they're not using them right. Why doesn't this guy have any dialogue, by the way? Is this not saving properly? I don't mean generics in code though. Well, I don't see how you would make it work without, like, you, yeah, I don't see it. Just like in like application design, it's not a great fit for a lot of stuff. I think if you wanted to do like random generation, like at runtime, I guess. Like, if you're doing like runtime random generation, I guess that could work, but I feel like it's not a great fit for most things. I feel like games are better if they're like actually designed. Right? Because why would you want to? Because then you're trying to fit, you know, real game design into like generics. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Generics are good for if you need like things to be generated on the fly, but you're not generating them on the fly, you're pre-generating them by yourself. Also, this isn't working. This is a test. Over what screen? Pretty much everything is better if it's designed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, I don't see the use case. I think something is wrong with my overworld screen text scene, I think. Yeah, okay, well, no. This is here. This is a test. Eh? Am I doing the wrong check here? Just need to design the right generic. You got me. I think at some point it stops being generic though. Like, look at this. I've designed the perfect generic. It's called the GUI layer. It looks like this. Look how generic it is. I can only use it for one use case as well. But I'm calling it generic. It's a very specific. Yeah, exactly. Am I checking the wrong thing? It's a current dialogue unit. That's the current dialogue unit. Yeah? Am I crazy? Talk to you. And we can look at this. This current dialogue unit is a non-public member. Good. Current line dialogue unit. Angular damp 1. Good to know. Dialogue fight me scrub. Yes. But there's no question attached to it. Right? Yeah. What is this? Is it getting... I really hope it's not this part. I really hope it's not that. Alright. That would be absolutely rage-inducing. So this is a test, yes. By the way, the port has all the levels. Try it out. I'm working on objectives now. Oh, baby. It has all the levels? Really? Oh, hard crash? Object reference is not set to an instance of an object. Eh? Where? Ooh? 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 Okay. Where? Where? Is it choice label? Build a simple scene system. All right, let's get distracted. Well, we can play Nox port of my my Ludum Dare game really quick. I'm interested to see. What was it called? Or did I yeet your? I think I yeeted it actually. Pretty sure I yeeted it. So let's see. Knock 7C9. Yeah, there we go. Death ball. I'm sorry. Convert level.js. What is this? What is this? Please explain yourself. Converted the Godot scene files into RS files. That's actually pretty neat. Node.js programmer confirmed. Alright, so then we'll go into Deathball. Just give it a quick check just in case. I feel like at this point there's no way to check it. Let's just send it. Cargo run release. Alright. Hopefully this is not a ruse to install a Trojan on my computer. Init one. I gotta take over Tim's machine function next time. Oh, please no. It's always a bit scary. It's always a bit scary since I don't know what you were doing with it. Look how fast it is though. I cannot imagine compiling this on a machine with less cores. Init one. Gotta love Rust. Let me tell you. At work, right? So whenever we do a clean build, so I only do a clean build on Mondays or whenever the application refuses to come up. So then we need to, you know, clean out all the incremental builds because sometimes things just kind of break. That takes, on my machine, it only takes about 30 minutes. On some other developer machines who are using ThinkPads, it takes like 45 to like an hour. It is crazy. Their compilers aren't fast, but they aren't so slow as to be painful. 30 minutes. Yeah, dude. It's a MacBook Pro. I think it's a 2019 MacBook Pro with an i9. Pretty sick. All right, I'm interested. Scenario 1. Ooh, look at that. Oh, and you got the... Yo. Yo. I like the eGUI as well. Oh, and you can move it around. This is cool. Oh, and now we're stuck. Look at this port. That's amazing. All right. Does everything give you the requisite amount of animals? Look at that. Neat. I don't have my headphones in, so is it playing sound? I suppose I should put on my headphones. Spawning logic and everything. Nice. No sounds yet? That's fair enough. Oh. Kill enemies 0 of 20. I don't think that's working, by the way, but you'll need to restart if you want to start another level. Oh, okay. Because the objectives aren't... Okay. Not quite implemented just yet. Cool. Oh, geez. What happened? Alright, thread main panicked at option unwrap. Combat RS 152. And you call this a port. It's a really good that's a really good port though. That's pretty much the game. It's a work in progress. Alright, let's look at Nox code. Let's tear it apart in real time. Even though I'm not fantastic at Rust, even though I should. Enemies IDX2. Does that imply the existence of an IDX1? does. It does. The crash? It was 152, I think, right? Yeah. Well, no. 152? 152.26? I guess is with group unwrapping implicitly? It looks like it's using macro quad. So that's a Rust graphics or game framework. Should be pretty easy to use. I think it's very straightforward. I think it's supposed to, isn't macro quads trying to expose like a mono game esque API, or is that something else? Like there's frameworks that try to expose like a Love 2D esque API. There's one that tries to do mono game esque API, and then there's Raylib. Yeah, but it's this part here probably. Enemy. Animal with enemy attacks. Wait, what? Animal with enemy. Yeah. Anyways, that's neat. That's neat. What is IDX2? Something with physics, and then it's with group. Check the boss level. I will check the boss level. Look at this. Final scenario. Neat. Is that how it worked in the original game as well? Please. It still brings me so much joy to just see the animals get punted. Is there still the glitch where if you're too close to the edge, you'll kind of pop through the fence because you're going too fast? Yeah, I feel like this plays a lot better now, at the very least. Yeah, because I know that happened sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. Oh, we got the... Oh, so does the golden duck still do the expected amount of damage? Oh, yeah, it does. Look at that. Or the rubber duck, not the golden duck. Is there still the lose condition as well, where if you lose all your animals, you will lose? Or is that not implemented yet? Yeah, there is a lose condition. So if you don't have any animals in your death ball, you'll get a timer that ticks down. That is a thing. Yeah, well, it's because it's so hard to lose. I think if you manage to lose at this game, you have bigger problems. Yeah, it's really only visible on the tutorial level. Yeah, so if you get hits on the tutorial level before you pick up any more animals, you'll get the message. Yeah, I guess this thing isn't working. Yeah, this is cool though. And then we can just have the animals wiggle around here. Not quite getting yeeted. Yeah, that's neat though. Really cool ports. I rate it 8 out of 8, mate. It's pretty great. Alright. There we go. Is that all it? Is that all the enemies? I have no idea because the objective thing isn't updating. Oh, there's the one in the corner. I always forget. The hardest part is finding the enemies in the corner. Alright, I'll finish and reply for rating. Oh baby. Hey, this is cool. Like I think like this It has potential to become its own game, for sure, for sure. All right. Pretty sick though. I enjoy microcode though. It has its rough edges. Yeah, I think that's most Rust things though. For the same reason that we still work in Python at work. It's because some things just don't quite work as expected. Huh, current. Hey, object reference not set to a thing. That's really weird. That's really weird how this isn't working. Huh. Rapier is pretty cool too. Yeah. Python to the rescue. Yeah. It's just that there's some libraries that aren't mature enough, but they've been ported to Rust, but we just need the stability because I work in QA, right? So our entire back end is written in Rust. But to test it, we would want to use Rust stuff, which is what I'm there for. But for now, we still need to use Python. No, I'm trying to figure out why this isn't working, because it is pulling in the correct text. So I'm thinking it's something in overworld screen. Like one of these things is incorrect. Oh, and is this how you parsed it, Knock? Is that you just went through the entire text scene file and then just looked for, you know, node name, and then I guess they just have a position assigned to them? Neat. Just curious what kind of library. Are you familiar with Cucumber tests or BDD tests? That name is really jank, but DBH, fair enough. Well, anyways, yeah. BDD tests, behavior-driven developments. It's really just something like, here I can demonstrate it since we're just talking at this point. So you usually have something like, it's more than a unit test, but less than a integration test. Well, it's in a different thing than an integration test. Integration tests, you know, test your integrations with other services. This is more of like given, you know, given that x is 3, when x minus 3, x minus 2, then x equals 1, something like that. And then and then for these steps, right, then you'll implement something on like via code, right? So it's basically like its own kind of programming language that you can show to less technical people. And so it's so that you can map requirements a lot easier, right? So then once you have this, the idea is that your business people will give you requirements in this format as well. Right, so you'll get it makes requirement gathering a lot more specific, something like that. So it's like simultaneously for both the benefit of the business people, right? Because then they can read, you know, what's being tested as opposed to just having to take your word for it. It's all kind of like a UML chart, but like in text format. Kind of like that, I guess. It's basically forcing the business people to give you good requirements, I guess. Right? Because then the implementation would be like, you know, this is like the Python implementation, you know, step that's, you know, value is, or I guess var is value, right? Something like that. You know, this is basic BDD implementation, and then, you know, this method can be called whatever you want. That var is value, right? Then you have some sort of context, which is the you know, kind of your global states, and then var and value, something like that. Anonymous cheer. Oh, thank you very much, an anonymous cheer. Or, hold on, is that your name? Thank you for the 1 bit, whoever it was. Yeah, but this is the Python stuff, right? And then you would use something. So you need to implement this. So the cucumber, gherkin processor, whatever you want to call it, would map this thing back to this. And then you would just implement steps for all of these. Right, so step, you know, I guess var equals value. Right, var equals value, or you can call it whatever you want, right? So this is unrelated to the software code stack. It depends. So for the Rust parts, there's some instability with actually getting the context to work properly, right? Because this is just kind of something that exists in space. So like, because this is written in Python, we can't directly interface with the backend, which is why they want to do it in Rust, so that you can just pull in the direct service, as opposed to having to, you know, use interop, which is always kind of painful and unreliable as well, or just hitting the API endpoints, which is kind of awkward. So then you would do like some sort of like assert. How does assert work in Python again? We don't use assert, but var equals value, something like that. Right. So this is all like within Python, but for our software stack, we would be like, we send requests to some API endpoints, and then we get, you know, we get the thing. So then we read that response in, just place it in the context, and then continue on with our day. So it would be like, okay, you know, given that we get authorization, then we do. Given that we get authorization, then when we log in, and then we log in correctly, or like when we log in and we receive a 200 response, blah blah blah. Anyways, that was a nice distraction. Yeah, I don't mind BDD tests. I think they get kind of painful to organize if not everyone is on the same page. But I don't know, like the first time I ever worked with it was like also the first time I ever set up a BDD test harness all by myself. So, and then everyone else didn't really understand the point, so they just kind of threw functions wherever, so it was horrible. And that was in Java. It does, though. The best part is being able to also, hold on really quick. The best part is being able to get good requirements. That's pretty much the best part. It's like we will not accept any requirements from the business unless they're formatted in BD test format. And I was like, all right. I guess that's what we're doing today then, is rewriting all of our requirements to follow like this kind of weird format. And I was like, yeah, get wrecked. Alright, so why isn't this working? So question, this is a test. Question, null. Something doesn't seem right here. Something doesn't seem right. Press play. So I should be able to go to here, and then there's a question defined on there. So that's not... It's not working. ASDF. This is a test. Just hit it with a build, I guess? Or is it because it's a string, and so you're not able to... You should be able to change it. That doesn't make any sense. Like, this isn't Rust. Yeah. What's going on? Your GUI layer. Start it from here, and then we can check the question length as well. We stop here. Question length. Not going to give me anything, huh? So we can look at current dialogue unit. Question, yeah, question is 0. It's very strange. Alright, so close. So it's there. You can see it. It's there. We're getting the correct dialogue. I wonder if it's because it's a string, so I'm just not able to export it. So public string question get set, and then it has a default value. Is there something else I need to do here? No, overload unit. No. That's tough. That's tough. All right, so okay. Here's something else that we can do then. Here's something else that we can do. Undo this. Undo this. Since we're just kind of... Well, I'm not going to say half-assing this, but we are going to be half-assing this. I think we can do it as... so public bool has question, right? That's tough, man. Because then how do you, oh, okay, hold on. We can do it like this. It's an array of strings, question. That's horrible though, but I think the problem is that strings are value types, right? So I can't just set it via the editor. So instead we need to do it like this. I hate this. Because also, I'm not sure how this will work with an array of structs. What would the array of structs do for me though? Like it's just a struct, right? So this is the question. This needs to be count. Question string. Or I guess that would just be a class then, right? Yeah, I guess you, no, because then you can't expose that via the, you can't expose that in the editor. Like I'm trying to use the editor for a lot of this stuff, but maybe that's just a bad idea. Expose it via a resource? Well, how would that work then? Yeah. Exposing it via a resource doesn't really answer the question. Right, it needs to be something that Godot recognizes. Alright, so that's probably okay. Then we can go back to here. Question 1. Yeah, I guess like this is just a workaround. This is a test. Right. Send it. Dictionary question string bool. You know what? That could work. It's like the same thing as what I'm doing, I guess. Ooh. Nope. Huh? Hold on. You should have the question. Non-public members. Current dialogue unit. Question. It's an empty... Wait. Eh? Object array 7. Eh? It's an empty array? I'm losing my mind. So what's the difference between this and this? Cinderblocks. Oh, thank you very much, Cinderblocks Creates, for the raid. Much appreciated. I'm rewriting a bunch of this Game Jam game, and I'm starting to lose my mind a bit. But thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream? Were you working on some Godot stuff as well? I'm trying to work my way through some code. I had to delete a bunch of stuff, and now things are just broken all over. Right. Not Godot. Unity, we seem to be enemies. Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, you know, nothing wrong with Unity. I just like the idea that one, free and open source, pretty sick. Lots of things that I work on are free and open source, like this thing right here, or this. Look at that. So you can, I suppose, unlike Unity, Godot exposes a C API that you can just hook into. No, I don't make the rules. You have to be enemies? Alright, well, you can be my best enemy then. How does that sound? I think something is kind of weird. Oh, you know what? I've got it. I've got it. I know why it's not working. And I am just a big dummy. Just a big dummy. To convert. Nah. You know? Unity, I just couldn't figure my way out around the prefab system back when I first started. Doing a lot of game dev stuff. But then, I think that was just like a lack of understanding since, you know, Java developer, etc. So once I had more experience working in making games, etc., which you can find all my games here on itch.io. Most recent one, Giant Horse Deathball, was made for Ludum Dare and ported to Rust by Knock, who is in chat. Anyways, I found the reason why it's not working. It's not an array, or it's because I was not using this thing here. I was not using the overworld scene. I was using a local version of it, so that's why it wasn't working. So I think this should be okay now, probably. As long as I do. Question, this is a test. What you want to do, eventually try Godot, it's on my list. Nice. What else is on your list then? So if you have a list, you must have other things you must be wanting to try. Have you done Unreal? Unreal? Pretty sick if you're doing 3D games. Lots of good tutorials for it as well. The only bad part is, oh yeah, so look at that. Nothing happens when you click on these buttons though. Although the application does crash, which is good. Yeah, Godot. Pretty sick. As long as you, I feel like with all game engines, right? As long as you're doing things the way the game engine intends you to do it, then things will work as expected. Why does this happen? Hide dialogue. So there's something here that's happening. It's been a while since I've also looked at this. Oh, it's because the GUI state has changed, or the GUI state needs to change. You say the way the game intends you to seat of your pants? What? The seat of your pants or the seed of my pants? Those are two very different things. First of all, you should not be leaving your seed in your pants. I recommend you other depositories for that. And I think I know what this is. So progress dialogue. Current dialogue count is less than 1, so then yeah, okay. So I need to change the state that we're in. So release it. Crash. That's good. Because more tired than luck. Let me retry that. No retries. Nothing is undoable. Didn't you know this? That's why I never press backspace. I think I need to have a different GUI state. So this is choice. So toggle menu. What do we have? No, it's not toggle menu. It's Ooh. Ooh. I think it's here. Yeah, this is just in process. So it's GUI states choice. I'm pretty sure we just want to break here as well. Just don't do anything. What am I doing? You say the way the game engine intends you to do it. I read it, do it without even looking at the documentation. Nice. Well, I feel like Godot and Unity have very similar ways of handling, I guess, like game scene structure, right? So Unity has prefabs, and then you just have game objects in your current scene, whereas Godot has a scene tree. The big difference, at least from when I used it, like back in 2019, so it's been a few years, or been 2 years, is that you couldn't nest prefabs inside of other prefabs. Just like you could try to do it, but it won't work. It won't work the same way. Whereas in Godot, you can just nest scenes inside of other scenes inside of other scenes. You think it's similar? It's on the surface, it's similar, but they're not. You know, we say it's similar. It's not exactly the same, right? But the idea is similar, of creating reusable collections of components, right? So state is equal to GUI state choice. Can probably wrap this up so it's a bit nicer. I've used Unity for 3 years. Oh yeah, you know. It's been a few years for me. on the surface, you know, once you dive deep into both of them, the methodologies change. But on choice, yes. All right, let's just see if we can get through this without crashing, and then we'll be good. Took some time to embrace the Godot scene structure. Really? I suppose. I thought Godot's scene structure made more sense to me, which is why I was also kind of gravitated towards it. So these don't work. Okay, so what did we crash on? Stop dialogue. What does stop dialogue do? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What does stop dialogue do? So we'll crash. So this will be NPC overworld unit. Stop dialogue. Dialogue event stop. All right, so who designed this? Please raise your hand. It's me. Is this links back to player overworld unit, I think. So player overworld unit listens for event stops and starts. Yeah, but it shouldn't null it. Oh, actually, it does null it. Yeah, that's why. So on choice, yes. Yeah, we should do a thing and then also just hide the GUI. Yeah, hide GUI and then hide GUI here. And I'm thinking, what I'm thinking is we'll have two export variables. One is the question. The second one is, I guess, the next scene to show, or maybe it'll be like an enum. Yeah, we can just have an enum here. This is not how you're supposed to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. In hindsight, I should have started with Godot. I have no desire to ever make 3D games, only 2D pixel art games, so it should have been the natural choice. Well, yeah, it's never too late to change your mind. And also, you know, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to both, right? Unity has like a really developed like ecosystem of tutorials, assets, things that are just optimized for Unity. So there's a lot of 2D, there's a lot of good 2D tutorials for Unity, or just even asset marketplace packages that you can just plug into your game and it should just work. Whereas Godot is a lot younger. I don't know. Etc, etc. What am I trying to do here? This is like question result. Yeah. So always have a none type, and then we can have like a shop. We'll have, let's see, I guess just like the code editor thing, and then there's the battle. Yeah, okay. So hit it with a public question result. I guess result. Get set equals. So by default, it's just question result none. Export this to the Godot editor. Is that really an advantage? Unity holds over Godot at this point. Are there tons of Godot tutorials as well? Yeah, I suppose. I haven't really had to look up a Godot tutorial. I do know that one of the bigger problems with Godot as well is that it doesn't default to C#. I don't know if that's a big problem or not. I think having your own programming language is nice because it allows for deeper integration with the engine. Because programming languages, it's just syntax. They're all the same at the end of the day. But the docs, well, Unity docs, not great in my opinion. There's some docs that are really good, and then there's some docs that are just absolute garbage. I suppose that's the same with Godot as well. Like most of Godot's docs are pretty good, but there are some like more lesser used things that just don't really have documentation. Like if you're talking about like bone poses and stuff, there's just some things are just undocumented. Newbie knowing I went for the most popular choice. One thing I'm happy with is have more community support when I first started, so it's easy to pick up. Yeah, it's kind of stuff when you actually the nitty gritty of how things work, they just don't explain anything. Yeah, and then the problem with closed source software is that if the docs aren't sufficient, then you're kind of out of luck, or you need to wait for someone to answer the question. Whereas something that's nice with Godot is that this is not how you do it. Something that's nice with Godot is that if you can't find the answer, you can just look at the code and then just find it. Big fan of that. All right, so case question results. This is not what I should be doing, but I'm doing it. Should really break it out. Good point. Yeah, I mean there have been several occasions, right, where I've had to dig into the docs to see how things work. And by several, I mean like 2 occasions, but that's still more than one. And that's more than none as well. Let's see. I think this should like throw an error, but I don't want to throw an error. We'll just hit it with a GD print and call it a day. Unhandled question result. Is this not how you do default? Or do I need a break statement at the end? Okay. Cool. So choice no, then we just hide the GUI and then go on our merry way. Yeah. So I think that's it. Yeah, it's still more or less us stub because we need code to switch to the other screens. This one shouldn't be too bad. So I already have the battle screen. I've completely yeeted most of the code that was related to it. I think all of Unity's reference code is on GitHub as well. Unity's tutorial code should be on GitHub, but you're not allowed to look at the engine stuff. Right? Whereas Godot lets you just look at the engine stuff, which is the best part. Like for example, you know, if you don't have a feature that you want, you can, well, because like right now, right, this is not like an OBS thing, but the little hexagon pixelation thing that's going on is just it's a Rust library linked into a Godot application. So that's, I'm currently mouse logging myself and then just moving around something on screen. Or something like this. So Godot does not allow, and this is like a limitation to Godot for sure, is that Godot does not allow for runtime model loading, which is what you can do. Look at this. I just said it doesn't have runtime model loading, but did I just load a model at runtime? What's going on? And it's because you can just recompile the engine and then just patch in whatever you want, you know? That's neat. Big fan, big fan. Too smart for me. It's not too hard, right? You just gotta read a lot, right? It's only code. It's only code. This is a test. All right, cool. So that worked. Neat. He's done it. So that's how we'll get to the battle screen. And then the battle screen is probably gonna look like this. I still need to figure out a good way of making combat work. Read a lot? What did you just say? I mean, not reading, just absorbing information. Yes, that's the neutral consultant way of putting it. I didn't say I was reading. I was absorbing information. How was I absorbing information? Very carefully. Yeah. I still need to think about how to implement a good combat system, because that's what I want. I want to be able, you know, you walk around in between fights, and then you'll go into your next fight. You'll be able to customize your skills. So this is basically like Magic if it was done nowadays, right? I explained it before, but it's like, you know, what if Magic wasn't like the Harry Potter kind of magic, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think if we discovered Magic nowadays, it would probably be closer to programming. So it'd be like, you know, a bunch of just garbage, but then there's like certain keywords that you would always need, and then you could try to optimize the Magic by just saying the keywords, something like that. But I need to think about how would I make that into a fun combat system. Why is the Harry Potter wizard a New York gangster? I am walking here, or I am what do they call when they ride their brooms in Harry Potter? I am flying here. I only know the one thing to make a New York accent. You was talking to me? I don't know. I can't do accents. I can do accents when I'm talking to myself in the shower. So maybe shower stream where I just talk in accents. There's an old game like that. What kind of game? New meta, yeah, new shower meta, but like there's no face cam at all. I'm still thinking. So, if the more I look at this as well, the more I'm kind of convinced that card game meta probably not a good idea. That sounds complicated. What would I do then? How would I make this fun? So you 100% need skills. I don't really remember. It's like Diablo,